Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today we are diving into a fascinating piece of American coinage history, and we are going to spend time unraveling the story behind the 1968 D Mint Mark Lincoln 1-cent penny coin, a coin that many people overlook in their everyday pocket change, but one that has hidden stories, details, varieties, and a staggering market value that has been recorded at an incredible $75,000. So let us begin at the beginning. The Lincoln cent itself has been one of the most widely circulated and most beloved coins in the history of the United States of America. Introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln, it became the first American coin to feature a real historical figure rather than classical representations of liberty. The design was created by Victor David Brenner, and it showcased a portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse or front side and wheat stalks on the reverse, which gave rise to the name wheat penny. By 1959, the design of the Lincoln cent had changed to feature the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, and this design carried on for decades. So when we talk about the 1968 D penny, we are talking about a coin from this Lincoln Memorial cent era. The obverse still features Abraham Lincoln's profile with the word liberty to the left and the phrase "In God We Trust" above his head. The date 1968 sits on the right along with the mint mark letter D, indicating that this particular coin was struck at the Denver Mint in Colorado. Now, what makes the 1968 D Lincoln penny particularly interesting is that it was produced during a time of immense change and transition in American coinage. The 1960s was a decade where rising silver prices had already forced the government to eliminate silver from dimes and quarters by 1965, and coin collectors were on high alert, searching for rare issues, errors, and valuable varieties from these years. The Denver Mint struck more than 2.5 billion 1-cent coins in 1968. So on the surface it might appear that these pennies are extremely common and would hold no extraordinary value, but as with many coins, the devil is in the details. Collectors have discovered that certain varieties and minting errors from 1968 D can transform what looks like a simple 1-cent coin into a rarity worth tens of thousands of dollars. One of the most famous features associated with the 1968 D penny is the double die variety. Particularly on the obverse, doubling can often be seen in the inscriptions such as "Liberty" or "In God We Trust," and sometimes even in the date itself. Doubling occurs during the minting process when the coin die is improperly hubbed, creating a secondary image that appears doubled under magnification. The most dramatic doubled die coins are considered highly collectible and command very strong prices in auctions. Another aspect of the 1968 D penny that makes it valuable in some cases is its condition. While billions were minted, very few have survived in pristine condition due to circulation. Most pennies from 1968 have scratches, wear marks, discoloration, and damage from decades of handling. However, coins that were preserved or found in mint state with little to no wear can be worth hundreds to thousands of dollars, and when a coin reaches extremely high grades certified by professional grading services such as PCGS or NGC, it can reach astronomical values. For instance, a mint state coin graded at MS67 red or MS68 red can be worth tens of thousands of dollars. Because the color designation matters too when it comes to copper coins, pennies are graded not only by wear but also by their luster and color. The three main designations are brown, and full red. A coin with full original mint red luster is the most desirable, and collectors will pay a premium for these examples since they are the hardest to find after decades of circulation and oxidation. The Denver Mint itself has an important history. It began operating in 1906 and became one of the largest producers of coins for the United States and the world. By 1968, it was already a powerhouse of coinage, and the D Mint mark became a familiar symbol for collectors across America. In fact, in 1968, the mint mark system had just returned after a short period of being removed between 1965 and 1967 due to the coin shortage. So coins from 1968 mark the return of visible mint marks, which is why the 1968 D penny stands out in the timeline of U.S. coinage. But let us talk about the specific value and why some of these coins have reached a market price of $75,000. The record prices are usually for extremely rare varieties or for top-grade examples. Let us imagine a collector discovering a flawless 1968 D penny with a dramatic double die obverse variety preserved in bright red mint state. Such a coin is considered a holy grail for Lincoln cent enthusiasts, and when placed at a public auction it can attract fierce bidding wars among collectors, driving the price up into The tens of thousands. The psychology of coin collecting also plays a big role. Collectors are not just buying metal, they are buying history, rarity, and prestige. Owning a coin like the 1968 D double-die penny or a top-grade gem means owning a piece of American history that few others can claim, and for serious numismatists, or even investors, such coins become treasures to hold long-term. Now let us take a deeper dive into some of the key factors that determine the market value of the 1968 D Lincoln penny. First, there is rarity. Coins with major double-die varieties or other errors like off-center strikes, die breaks, or repunched mint marks are significantly rarer than the billions of standard pennies, so rarity is the first driver of price. Second, there is condition. A coin that is in poor shape may only fetch a cent or two, while the same date in gem uncirculated condition can fetch thousands. And then there is demand. The Lincoln cent series is one of the most heavily collected coin series in the world, with millions of collectors chasing after varieties, errors, and top-grade examples. Now, if you are wondering how you might identify whether you have a valuable 1968 D penny, let me guide you through a few steps. First, look carefully at the obverse inscriptions under magnification. See if there is any visible doubling in the letters Liberty, or In God We Trust, or in the date 1968. Second, examine the mint mark D. In some cases, repunched mint marks exist where the D was struck more than once during production, creating a shadow-like doubling effect. Third, consider the overall condition of the coin. If it looks bright red, sharp, and shows no sign of wear, you may be holding on to something special. And finally, if you suspect you have something rare, it is always best to have the coin authenticated and graded by a professional grading service. Stories of people finding valuable pennies and pocket change always make headlines. Imagine picking up a penny that looks ordinary and discovering it is worth $75,000. That dream has driven many collectors and everyday people to search through jars of coins, inherited collections, or pocket change. And while the odds are slim, the possibility is real, and that is part of what makes coin collecting such an exciting hobby. Let us also spend a moment talking about the cultural backdrop of 1968, because history adds another layer of richness to this coin. The year 1968 was one of the most turbulent years in modern American history, marked by the Vietnam War protests, the Civil Rights Movement, the assassinations of Martin Luther King Jr. and Robert Kennedy, and a presidential election that reshaped the political landscape. In the middle of all this, the United States Mint was producing billions of Lincoln cents coins that passed through the hands of millions of Americans living through these historic times. So every 1968 penny carries with it the invisible weight of history, the daily lives of people who bought bread, gas, or newspapers with these very coins. When you hold a 1968 D penny, you are not just holding copper, you are holding a piece of history, a coin that has witnessed decades of American life, and one that might be hiding immense value depending on its variety and condition. So to recap, the 1968 D Lincoln penny was minted at the Denver Mint in massive numbers, but within that sea of coins, rare varieties and pristine examples have emerged that can sell for thousands and even up to $75,000. At auction, its value is determined by rarity, errors, varieties, condition, and demand, and for coin collectors it remains one of the fascinating finds in the world of Lincoln cents. If you are a collector or just curious about the coins in your pocket, always take the time to examine your change. You never know when you might stumble upon one of these hidden treasures that could change your life. Stories of $75,000 pennies remind us that value can be hiding in plain sight. Thank you for joining me on this deep dive into the history, the details, and the market value of the 1968 D Mint Mark Lincoln 1-cent penny coin. Make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with fellow collectors so more people can discover the fascinating world of rare coins. Until next time, keep searching, keep collecting, and keep your eyes open for that 1-cent treasure that might just be worth a fortune. Welcome back everyone to another exciting video about rare coins and hidden treasures that could be sitting in your pocket change. Today we are going to dive deep into the fascinating story of the 1976 No Mint Mark Lincoln 1-cent penny coin, a coin that looks ordinary to most people but has an incredible history and is valued today at over $410,000. Yes, you heard that correctly, a single penny could be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, and I am going to take you step by step through everything you need to know, from the background and history of the Lincoln cent to how mint marks work to why the 1976 No Mint Mark penny is such a big deal, and finally the current market value and how collectors are chasing this coin right now. So let us begin with the history of the Lincoln 1-cent coin. The Lincoln penny was first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of The birth of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States. This was the first American coin to feature a real historical person rather than a symbolic image, and it quickly became a favorite among collectors and the public. The design was created by Victor David Brenner, a Lithuanian-born engraver who immigrated to the United States and left his mark on American coinage forever. The obverse of the coin, the front, shows the famous portrait of Abraham Lincoln in profile facing to the right, and this same design with only minor modifications has been in use for more than a century now. Fast forward to the year 1976. This was a very important year in United States history because it marked the 200th anniversary of American independence. The bicentennial celebrations were going on everywhere: parades, concerts, commemorations, fireworks, and of course special coin issues. The United States Mint produced special designs for the quarter, the half dollar, and the dollar coins to honor the bicentennial, but the Lincoln penny kept its traditional design and did not receive a special bicentennial version. However, that does not mean there was nothing interesting happening with the penny in 1976. In fact, the no mint mark variety is one of the most unusual. To understand why this coin matters, we need to talk about mint marks for a moment. Mint marks are small letters placed on coins that show which mint facility produced the coin. The main mint facilities are Philadelphia, Denver, San Francisco, and later West Point. Most coins made at the Denver Mint carry a small d mint mark. Those from San Francisco often have an S, and those from Philadelphia traditionally had no mint mark at all, except for a few exceptions for proof coins. So when we say a coin is no mint mark, it often means it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. Now here is where the 1976 penny story gets very intriguing. The Philadelphia Mint produced millions of pennies in 1976 without any mint mark. That was normal, but in rare cases something about the die preparation and striking process created pennies with small variations or errors that collectors today value incredibly highly, and among these the 1976 no mint mark Lincoln penny with very special characteristics has risen to legendary status. These coins are extremely hard to find in pristine condition, and when they show strong details, sharp strike, and beautiful luster, they can command astronomical prices at auction. Imagine holding a coin that people walk past every day without noticing and realizing that your coin is the rare one that collectors are fighting to own. This is what makes coin collecting so exciting: the thrill of the hunt, the possibility that hidden treasure is already in your possession. So let us talk about the specific details of the 1976 no mint mark Lincoln penny. This coin still has the standard copper alloy composition of that era, 95% copper and 5% zinc. The weight is 3.11 grams, the diameter is 19 millimeters, and the design remains the classic Lincoln portrait on the front, and the wheat reverse had already been replaced in 1959 with the Lincoln Memorial reverse, so the back of the coin shows the Lincoln Memorial with the tiny statue of Lincoln visible between the columns. Now that all seems normal, so why is this coin so valuable? The value comes from a mix of rarity, condition, and collector demand. Most 1976 pennies are only worth face value 1 cent in circulation, maybe a few dollars if they are uncirculated or proof, but the rare varieties with no mint mark that are graded at the highest levels of preservation, such as Mint State 67 or Mint State 68, are worth incredible sums. One famous example sold at auction for more than $410,000, making headlines around the world and capturing the imagination of collectors everywhere. The reason it reached that price is not only because of the no mint mark status, but also because it was flawless, nearly perfect, with blazing red color and sharp details. When you combine rarity, historical significance, and top quality, you get record-breaking prices in the coin market. Now let us take a closer look at what makes a 1976 penny valuable to collectors. The first factor is the grade or condition. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being a perfect coin with no flaws visible under magnification. Most pennies in circulation are well worn and fall far below the scale needed for high value. A circulated 1976 penny without a mint mark is generally worth only a few cents, maybe up to $1. But if you find one that is uncirculated with full red color, then you could be holding a coin worth hundreds, or even thousands. The second factor is rarity. While millions of pennies were made in 1976, very few survived in gem condition. Collectors are always looking for coins that were carefully saved or preserved, and these are the ones that bring high prices. The combination of no mint mark rarity and high grade makes for the perfect storm of collector demand. The third factor is demand itself. Coin collecting has grown into one of the most popular hobbies worldwide. There are millions of collectors in the United States alone, and many of them specialize in Lincoln cents because the series is so long and rich with varieties, eras, and history. When demand is high, prices can skyrocket, just as we saw with the 1976 penny. So how can you tell if your 1976 penny is valuable? The first step is to check the coin for a mint mark. If there is no letter under the date, that means it was struck in Philadelphia. Next, check the condition. Is it heavily worn or does it look shiny and crisp? The better the condition, the more valuable. Then look closely for strong details, sharpness in the lettering, and no signs of damage. If your coin looks good, it might be worth submitting to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC, where experts can certify its authenticity and assign a grade. Now let us talk about the current market value of the 1976 no mint mark Lincoln penny. As of today, the record sales show values reaching into the hundreds of thousands. The most famous sale is the one that crossed the $410,000 mark, but even coins graded lower can still fetch strong prices. A mint state 66 example might bring thousands, while a mint state 67 red could be tens of thousands and beyond. This is why people are so excited about these coins, because the possibility of finding one is real. You might think it is impossible, but remember, many valuable coins have been discovered in change jars, coin rolls, and collections passed down from grandparents. Everyday people have found treasures without realizing it until an expert pointed it out. Collectors today are not just buying coins for history, they are also viewing rare coins as investments. The value of top quality coins has risen steadily over the years, and with so much interest in Lincoln cents, it is no surprise that the 1976 penny is now seen as a major prize in any collection. Let us imagine for a moment that you walk into a coin show, and you see a dealer with a 1976 no mint mark penny in a graded holder. The label says MS67 red and the price tag is $40,000. Would you walk past it, or would you realize that this coin is part of American history and that the value could rise even higher in the future? That is the mindset of collectors and investors who are driving up the market. But we also have to remember that not every 1976 penny is worth a fortune. Most of them are just ordinary coins, but the dream of finding that one special penny is what keeps people searching. This is what makes coin collecting so exciting. It is like treasure hunting in your own pocket. As we wrap up this story, let us summarize the key points. The 1976 no mint mark Lincoln penny is part of the long-running Lincoln cent series. It was minted in Philadelphia during the bicentennial year. It looks ordinary at first glance, but in rare high-grade examples it can be worth over $410,000. The value depends on rarity, condition, and demand, and collectors today are eager to add these coins to their collections. So the next time you see a penny, do not just toss it aside. Check the date, look for the mint mark, and study the condition, because you never know, your penny might be the one that changes your life forever. Coin collecting is not only about money, it is also about history, stories, and the thrill of discovery. And the 1976 no mint mark Lincoln penny is a perfect example of how a simple coin can carry incredible value and meaning. Thank you for watching this video about the 1976 no mint mark Lincoln penny coin. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with your friends, because who knows, maybe someone out there already has one of these rare treasures sitting in their change jar. Stay curious, keep searching, and until next time, happy collecting. The story of the 1992 no mint mark Lincoln 1-cent penny is one of the most fascinating tales in the world of coin collecting and numismatic history. Today we will go deep into the background, the design, the circulation, and the incredible current market value of this rare penny, which has been valued at $51,000. To understand why this small coin carries such great worth, we need to go back in time and examine not only the history of the Lincoln cent itself, but also the specific events that led to the rare no mint mark 1992 version. The Lincoln cent was first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of the birth of Abraham Lincoln. President Theodore Roosevelt wanted to bring more artistry and national pride into American coinage, and the sculptor Victor David Brenner was chosen to design the coin. His portrait of Lincoln became the first appearance of a real historical figure on a regular circulating United States coin. Over the decades, the Lincoln cent became one of the most widely recognized coins in America, and it went through several design changes, from the wheat ears reverse of 1909 to the Lincoln Memorial reverse starting in 1959. By the year 1992, the Lincoln Memorial design had been on the reverse of the penny for more than 3 decades, and the minting process was highly standardized. Pennies were being produced by the billions every year in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Most of these coins were common everyday pieces of change that circulated freely in the pockets and purses of millions of Americans. Yet among the billions of ordinary pennies, sometimes errors occurred or unusual varieties were struck, and these accidents created treasures for collectors. One of the most famous and intriguing of these is the 1992 no-mint mark Lincoln 1-cent penny. To understand why the lack of a mint mark matters, we need to remember how mint marks work. A mint mark is a small letter stamped onto a coin to show which United States mint facility produced it. The letter D stands for Denver, the letter S stands for San Francisco, and the letter P stands for Philadelphia, though for many years coins made in Philadelphia carried no mint mark at all. By the 1990s, however, it was standard practice for pennies to carry either a D or no mark depending on where they were minted. Yet the 1992 no mint mark penny has something different that sets it apart and makes it highly valuable. The key to this coin lies not only in the missing mint mark but in the subtle details of the design. In 1992, the United States Mint began preparing to change the reverse design of the Lincoln penny. Starting in 1993, a new reverse would appear that featured a sharper and more modern design style. However, a small number of pennies struck in 1992 accidentally used the new design dies meant for the following year. These became known as 1992 close AM pennies because the letters A and M in the word America on the reverse of the coin were spaced much closer together than in the normal 1992 pennies. This mix-up created a rare variety that collectors now hunt for with great excitement. The 1992 close AM penny without a mint mark is especially rare because it means it came from the Philadelphia Mint and was struck with the prototype design that should not have been used until 1993. These coins slipped quietly into circulation unnoticed by the public at the time. For years they sat in change jars or were spent in everyday transactions until sharp-eyed collectors realized their importance. Today, very few examples are known to exist, and their rarity combined with collector demand has driven their value sky high. Now let us talk about the current market value. A regular 1992 Lincoln cent is worth only 1 cent. Even in uncirculated condition, it might be worth only a small premium of a few dollars to collectors. But the rare 1992 no mint mark close AM penny can fetch astonishing sums at auction. Well-preserved examples graded by professional coin grading services have sold for tens of thousands of dollars. In fact, the current market value for one of these coins in top condition is around $51,000. That is a life-changing amount of money for a simple penny, and it shows just how powerful rarity and demand can be in the world of coins. The story of this coin also teaches us an important lesson about paying attention to detail. At first glance, a 1992 penny looks like any other. It is small, it is copper-coated zinc, it carries the portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. Yet if you look closely at the spacing of the letters in America, you may find that you are holding one of the rarest modern varieties ever produced. This is why collectors around the world continue to check their pocket change in hopes of discovering one of these hidden treasures. Let us imagine for a moment what it would be like to stumble upon such a coin. You are emptying your change after buying groceries and you notice a shiny 1992 penny. At first you think nothing of it, but then you take a closer look and notice that the A and the M in America are almost touching. Your heart races as you realize you may have found a close AM variety. You send it to a grading service, and after weeks of waiting you receive the news that it is authentic and in high grade. Suddenly that 1 cent coin is worth $51,000. Stories like these fuel the passion of coin collectors and inspire new hobbyists to start searching. The history of coin errors and varieties is filled with such fascinating tales. From the 1955 double-die penny to the 1972 double-die cent to the rare 1999 wide AM variety, each one is a reminder that mistakes in the minting process can create treasures worth far more than face value. The 1992 close AM penny without a mint mark belongs to this exclusive group, and its value will likely continue to rise as more collectors become aware of it. Another important factor in the value of these coins is condition. Like most collectibles, coins are graded on a scale from poor to perfect mint state. A circulated example of the 1992 close AM penny might sell for thousands, but a mint state specimen with brilliant luster, sharp details, and nowhere can reach prices of $51,000 or more. This is why professional grading is essential. Collectors want the assurance that what they are buying is genuine, and they want to know exactly how the coin ranks in terms of preservation. Now let us turn to the broader context of why people are willing to spend so much money on rare coins. Collecting is not just about ownership, it is about history, culture, and the thrill of discovery. Every coin tells a story about the era in which it was made. The 1992 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny tells us about the transition from one design era to another, about the complexity of mint operations, and about how small changes can have massive consequences. For collectors, this story is worth investing in, and that is why the value remains high. Looking ahead, the future of the 1992 no-mint Mark penny will likely remain bright. As more collectors enter the hobby and as fewer examples remain in circulation, the demand will keep climbing. Auctions will continue to draw attention whenever one of these rare pennies appears, and the prices will reflect that intense interest. $51,000 may sound incredible today, but in the future it is possible that these coins will reach even higher values, especially for top-graded specimens. The best advice for anyone interested in this coin is simple. Always check your change. Take the time to look closely at pennies from 1992. Study the spacing of the letters on the reverse. Learn how to recognize the difference between the wide AM and close AM varieties. Do not assume that just because a coin is common it has no value. Many of the greatest discoveries in numismatics have been made by ordinary people who simply paid attention. So, to sum up the story of the 1992 no-mint Mark Lincoln 1-cent penny, we can say this. It is a coin that should not exist, yet it does. It is a coin that slipped quietly into circulation, yet now commands a market value of $51,000. It is a coin that teaches us about history, minting technology, and the excitement of collecting. And it is a coin that may still be hiding in plain sight, waiting for you to discover it in your pocket or change. As we come to the end of this deep exploration, let this serve as both history lesson and motivation. The world of coin collecting is filled with hidden treasures, and the 1992 no-mint Mark penny is one of the brightest gems among them. Whether you are a seasoned collector or a curious beginner, the thrill of searching for rare coins is unmatched. Every time you pick up a penny, you hold a piece of history and perhaps, just perhaps, a fortune in the making. Welcome back to the channel, coin collectors, treasure hunters, and history lovers. Today we are diving deep into the world of Lincoln cents and focusing on one of the most fascinating coins in modern American coinage, the 1995 no-mint Mark Lincoln 1-cent penny coin. This coin has captured the attention of collectors around the world, not only because of its intriguing backstory but also because of its incredible market value that has shocked many people in the coin community, with some examples being valued at more than $710,000. Yes, you heard that right. A single penny that you may overlook in your pocket change could actually be worth a life-changing fortune. To truly understand the story of the 1995 no-mint Mark penny, we need to first step back and understand the background of the Lincoln cent itself. The Lincoln penny was first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. It became the first circulating coin in the United States to feature a real historical figure instead of symbolic images. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the Lincoln cent has been in production for well over a century and has seen many variations, including changes in design, composition, and mint marks throughout the years. Pennies have been struck at multiple United States mints, including Philadelphia, Denver, San Francisco, and occasionally West Point. Most coins include mint marks, which are small letters on the coin indicating the place of production, for example D for Denver, S for San Francisco, and P for Philadelphia. However, for most of its history, pennies struck in Philadelphia did not have a mint mark at all. This tradition continued for decades until the 1980s, when the Philadelphia Mint began placing the letter P on many coins, but there are still coins, especially in the Lincoln cent series, that appear with no mint mark. The 1995 penny is especially interesting because of a unique combination of history, minting processes, and Collector demand. The no mint mark 1995 penny that we are discussing today is one that comes specifically from Philadelphia without any identifying mark. Now, at first glance, you might think this is completely normal since Philadelphia cents usually came with no mint mark, but what makes this coin extraordinary is a rare error associated with it. In 1995, a very special variety known as the 1995 double die penny came to light. This error occurred during the minting process when the die of the metal piece that stamps the design onto the coin impressed a slightly doubled image onto the coin itself. Collectors noticed that the word Liberty and the phrase "In God We Trust" appeared to have doubled letters, making the coin highly collectible. When paired with the no mint mark designation from Philadelphia, these pennies quickly gained legendary status among coin collectors. Now let us talk about how these coins reached astronomical values. The 1995 double die penny without a mint mark has become one of the most iconic modern coins because it combined both rarity and high demand. Collectors around the world chased these coins, often paying hundreds and even thousands of dollars for them. As time went on, the highest quality examples graded by professional grading services like PCGS and NGC commanded staggering amounts because collectors know that top grade examples are truly scarce. When we talk about the market value today, we are talking about a coin that has in pristine condition reached prices over $710,000. This is not the average pocket change penny you find at the grocery store, but an example that is nearly flawless with sharp strikes, vibrant luster, and full red color. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being a perfect coin, and only those examples in mint state 67, 68, or higher with deep red surfaces have reached these extreme prices. Imagine holding a single penny that could pay off your house or even set you up financially. For years, the excitement around the 1995 no mint mark penny has also sparked a huge interest in coin roll hunting, which is the hobby of searching through rolls of pennies from banks to find rare and valuable coins. Many collectors started searching through thousands of pennies in hopes of discovering one of these rare varieties. Some people have even reported finding them in circulation, though that has become increasingly rare over the decades since most examples are now in private collections. But what makes the 1995 penny so valuable besides the error and no mint mark is the story behind it. This coin represents a time in the 1990s when coin collecting was experiencing a resurgence. The United States Mint produced billions of coins each year, but only a handful had the perfect combination of errors, rarity, and collector recognition. This penny symbolizes the thrill of the hunt. For collectors, the idea that something as small and ordinary as a 1-cent coin could hold secrets that transform it into a treasure. For those wondering how to identify if you might have a valuable 1995 no mint mark penny, the first step is to look closely at the lettering, especially the word Liberty and the phrase "In God We Trust." If you see clear doubling in the letters, then you may have one of the double die error coins. Next, examine the color and condition of the coin. Coins that are shiny red and without scratches will always be worth more than worn brown examples. Finally, consider getting your coin graded by a professional service because a certified grade will establish its authenticity and maximize its value in the marketplace. Now let us explore some of the record sales that have brought this coin into the spotlight. In the past decade, auctions have reported astonishing results. A mint state 67 red example once sold for tens of thousands of dollars, but as the market grew and collectors became more competitive, prices skyrocketed. The most famous sale was the one that pushed this coin past the $710,000 mark, forever cementing it in the Hall of Fame of valuable modern pennies. This sale shocked even veteran numismatists who had never expected such a modern coin to rival the value of much older and rarer coins like the 1909 South VDB Lincoln Center or the 1955 Double Die. Another reason this coin is so remarkable is that it is not an ancient rarity produced in small quantities, but a coin from the modern era struck by the millions. Yet, because of the unique error and the collector mania surrounding it, a few perfect examples became treasures. This teaches us a valuable lesson in coin collecting, that rarity is not only about age but about uniqueness and demand. The 1995 no mint mark penny shows us that even coins from our own lifetimes can hold incredible value. The cultural impact of this coin is also fascinating. News stories, articles, and documentaries have highlighted the 1995 penny as one of the most important modern collectible coins. It has inspired younger generations to take up coin collecting and has been a gateway for many beginners to learn about mint marks, doubled dies, and the history of United States coinage. Teachers have even used this penny as a case study in classrooms to show how mistakes in the minting process can create unintentional treasures. Collectors today continue to hunt for this coin, whether through coin dealers, estate sales, or online auctions. Every time a high-grade example appears at auction, it draws attention from around the world, often sparking bidding wars among wealthy collectors who want to add it to their elite collections. Some see it as an investment, while others see it as a piece of history worth preserving. To wrap this up, let us reflect on the incredible journey of the 1995 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, from a simple copper-plated zinc coin worth 1 cent to a record-breaking collectible worth more than $710,000. This coin reminds us to never overlook the change in our pockets, to always keep an eye out for small details, and to appreciate the fascinating history hidden in everyday objects. The Lincoln cent has been a cornerstone of American coinage for over a century, and the 1995 no-mint mark penny is a shining example of how extraordinary stories can be found in the most ordinary places. So the next time you see a penny, do not dismiss it as just 1 cent. Instead, think of the history behind it, the artistry, the minting process, and the possibility that you may just be holding a piece of treasure. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the history and value of the 1995 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, make sure to subscribe to the channel for more content about rare coins, coin errors, and hidden treasures. Thank you for watching, and until next time, keep collecting, keep searching, and never stop being curious about the coins in your pocket. Welcome back to another exciting video where we uncover the hidden treasures in your pocket. Change the coins you might pass by every single day without giving them a second thought. Today we are going to dive deep into one of the most fascinating modern-era coins, the 2006 no-mint mark Lincoln 1 cent penny coin. At first glance, this coin may look just like any other penny you see in circulation every single day, but in reality, some rare examples of this coin have been sold for absolutely jaw-dropping amounts of money, reaching values as high as $81,000. Yes, you've heard that right. A single cent coin struck in 2006 without a mint mark has become the stuff of legends in the numismatic community, and today we are going to explore why. To understand the importance of the 2006 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, we need to go back in history to the origins of the Lincoln cent itself. The Lincoln cent was first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. It was the very first U.S. coin to feature the image of a real person, and not just a symbolic figure. Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, was chosen for this historic design because of his enduring legacy of leadership and freedom. The coin was designed by Victor David Brenner, whose initials VDB famously appeared on the reverse of the earliest 1909 issues. The obverse featured a portrait of Lincoln in profile, and the reverse featured 2 wheat stalks surrounding the denomination, giving rise to what collectors now call the wheat penny. Fast forward to 1959, a major change took place in the Lincoln cent design. The wheat ears were replaced with the Lincoln Memorial to mark the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. This memorial, designed by Frank Gasparo, became the standard reverse design all the way up until 2008, making it one of the most familiar and longest-running designs in American coinage. By 2006, the Lincoln Memorial cent had already been in circulation for nearly 50 years, and billions upon billions of them had been struck by the U.S. Mint. Now here is where things get really interesting. Every coin that comes out of the U.S. Mint is typically marked with a small letter known as the mint mark to show which minting facility produced it. The Philadelphia Mint traditionally produced coins with no mint mark, while coins from Denver bear the letter D, and coins from San Francisco carry the letter S for Lincoln pennies minted after the year 1980. Most Philadelphia coins also carried a small letter P to indicate their origin. However, the penny was an exception. Philadelphia struck cents without a P mint mark for decades, which makes telling apart Philadelphia issues and error no mint mark issues a little tricky. In the case of the 2006 Lincoln cent, however, things become even more mysterious because in certain rare instances coins were struck without any mint mark at all, and these no mint mark coins are highly sought after by collectors. What makes them valuable is not simply the absence of a mint mark itself, but the specific conditions surrounding the error or rarity. Sometimes blank planchets, die errors, or even double-struck conditions can create coins that are both no mint mark and unique in their striking. When collectors discovered these 2006 no mint mark Lincoln cents, they immediately recognized them as special finds. Although hundreds of millions of regular 2006 Lincoln cents were minted in both Denver and Philadelphia, only an extremely small fraction lack the expected mint marks, and when rarity combines with collector demand, the value skyrockets. Now let us talk about the condition of the coin, which plays a huge role in its market value. Like with all collectible coins, the grade or condition of the coin can make the difference between just a penny and a fortune. If you happen to have a 2006 no mint mark Lincoln cent that is heavily circulated, scratched, or worn, it may only bring in a small premium over face value, maybe a few dollars to a few $100 depending on its appearance. But if the coin is in mint state condition, especially those graded by professional coin grading services such as PCGS or NGC, then you are in for a potential treasure. A flawless coin with sharp strike, bright red luster, and no visible imperfections can fetch tens of thousands of dollars, and this is exactly what has happened with record sales in the numismatic world at major auctions. Some pristine examples of the 2006 no mint mark Lincoln cent have sold for astounding amounts. The highest verified sales have reached up to $81,000, making this one of the most shocking modern penny values on record. Just imagine the idea that a coin most people would overlook as just 1 cent could instead change your life if you find it in the right condition. But what makes these coins sell for so much? Why would collectors pay tens of thousands of dollars for a modern era coin when older historic coins are also available? The answer lies in a few key factors. Rarity is, of course, number one. When only a handful of coins exist, they instantly become desirable. Scarcity drives competition among collectors. Secondly, condition, or grade, is critical. A coin in superb condition that has been preserved perfectly from the moment it left the mint becomes not just rare but nearly one of a kind. Finally, collector demand plays a huge role. Lincoln cents have one of the largest collector bases in the entire coin hobby. Millions of people collect them by date, and mint mark and errors are among the most prized pieces. That massive demand pushes prices higher and higher whenever a rare coin like this surfaces. Now let us take a moment to understand how you can identify whether the penny you hold in your hand could be the valuable 2006 no mint mark version. First, flip over your coin and look closely just below the date. If there is no mint mark at all where you would normally expect AD, or sometimes nothing from Philadelphia, pay attention. Examine it carefully under magnification. Look for signs of sharpness and strike originality of the surface, and whether the coin shows any special doubling or planchet characteristics. Next, compare it to verified images from professional grading companies. If you believe your coin could be valuable, consider submitting it for certification. Professional grading is the gold standard in the coin world, and a coin authenticated and graded can instantly unlock its true value in the marketplace. It is also worth noting that counterfeits do exist. Because rare era coins command such high prices, there are always individuals who attempt to alter regular pennies to pass them off as rare varieties. That is why authentication is so important. Having the coin professionally graded and placed in a tamper-proof holder ensures both its legitimacy and its value. Now let us talk briefly about the broader coin market and why coins like this continue to rise in value over the past few decades. Collecting coins has become more popular not only with traditional collectors but also with investors. Rare coins have shown remarkable resilience as alternative investments. People realize that unlike paper money, which can lose value through inflation, rare coins represent tangible pieces of history. Each coin tells a story, and the rarity adds to its mystique. For the 2006 no mint mark Lincoln penny, the story combines modern production technology with a surprising error, making it especially appealing to both historians and investors. If you are wondering what to do if you find one of these coins, the first step is not to spend it. Keep it safe. Store it in a protective holder to avoid scratches or damage. Then research thoroughly. Check auction records online. See what similar examples have sold for, and reach out to coin dealers or auction houses who specialize in rare errors. If the coin is truly the valuable no mint mark variety in excellent condition, you might be sitting on tens of thousands of dollars. Collectors also know that history has a funny way of rewarding patience. A coin that may sell for a few thousand today could become even more valuable in the future. As time passes and more coins are lost or damaged, the surviving population gets even smaller, driving prices up. Collectors of tomorrow may be willing to pay even more for a coin as rare as the 2006 no mint mark Lincoln penny. So the next time you open your wallet or check your spare change, pay close attention to every penny you come across, because you never know when you might stumble across a hidden fortune. To most people it is just a copper-plated zinc coin worth 1 cent, but to the sharp-eyed collector it could be the key to unlocking a life-changing payday. As we wrap up, let us reflect on the incredible journey of this coin, from its humble design origins back in 1909 honoring Abraham Lincoln to the massive production runs of the modern era, and finally to the rare coins like the 2006 no mint mark that become instant treasures. This story shows us that history can hide in plain sight, and that sometimes the most ordinary objects carry extraordinary value. So keep searching, keep learning, and never underestimate the power of a penny. That 1 cent coin in your pocket might just be worth $81,000. Thank you for joining me on this fascinating deep dive into the world of rare coins. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe, like, and share it with your friends so they too can discover the hidden treasures that may be waiting in their pocket change. Until next time, happy collecting and